Now, I'll just take this opportunity in this masterclass of how business growth can happen and how we can maximize the opportunity, which will serve as a guide for startups to leverage the industrial policies of the government of Andhra Pradesh, which have been released very recently. So I'll just be prompting for this thing. I hope the next slide is visible to all of you. So government of AP prioritized in its manifesto on all these four items. Number one is the industrialization and investments, basically to boost for creation of employment, because the present government has promised to create around 20 lakh jobs in the next 5 years. So this becomes a very priority area for the government. And then increase income to the state, promote use of advanced technologies, re-establish the brand of Andhra Pradesh, and then attract foreign investments on a large scale. And because of this, in fact, the IT minister is touring the United States of America for the last 1 week, and he has been meeting all the big heads of IT industries. And possibly we should hope that the foreign investments will come in a big way in the years to come. And then we have a second priority is on the food processing, because India major resources should be, that's what the government of India and government of AP propose, to have a agro-based industries in the country. And then increase income of farmers and encourage self-employment. This will be the ultimate guiding principle for any country like India's size, given its agricultural base. And this alone, that's the reason why governments are concentrating on food processing. Then, of course, youth welfare. The demographic dividend that India has. So basically, to create special employment zones for job creation in Uttarandhra, Coastal Andhra, and Rayalaseema regions. Encouragement for MSME sector, because this becomes the base, and then providing skill training to youth according to the needs of the industry. Government of AP have already identifying the universities and the higher education institutions in the state, basically to have skill training centers, so that these training centers, they call it as Center of Excellence for Training in each university. In fact, yesterday also we had a team from government of AP in identifying the thing. So the CETs, Center of Excellence in Trainings, will be linked to different industries, different sectors. And industries are expected to come train in these Center of Excellences and then recruit. So that's the model which the government of Andhra Pradesh is planning when it comes to youth welfare. And then the fourth metric is on development of Rayalaseema. And Kia has been already established in Rayalaseema, and you all have seen the kind of impact that the Kia has created in terms of economic renaissance of the entire Anantapur district. And we also have Isuzu in Sri City, and that's the reason why these two are just the model. And in fact, the in IT ministry is also talking to Tesla Industries to bring Tesla to Rayalaseema, Anantapur. That's what he was referring in his press brief. Then Rayalaseema should be made as the horticulture hub also, because as it is, Rayalaseema is the horticulture hub of the state, and develop the Chennai-Bangalore industrial corridor as an industrial cluster connecting to towns of Rayalaseema. So these four are prominent areas as envisaged by the government of Andhra Pradesh. So for this, this is a fulcrum, normally how they want to go about it, by creating a competitive incentive structure, because incentives between 12% of FCI, fixed capital investment, to as high as 45% FCI across investment bands. That's exactly what the government of AP wants to do. And then employment at core of the incentives, that incentivizing the firms, providing quality and quantity of employment. So your incentives will be proportional to the quantity of employment and also the quality of employment. So that's where the government of AP wants to leverage these kind of policies. And then encouraging the value addition. Again, incentives will be on high-end value addition across different manufacturing sectors. Then product perfection, encouraging homegrown global brands, building high-quality brands, high-quality products is also of high priority for the government. And then decarb subsidy, government of AP wants to be the first state in the country encouraging decarbonization of industries at a large scale. And then finally moving towards speed of doing business. So far government of AP was popular for ease of doing business. Now we want to concentrate on speed of doing business by integrating the institutions, processes, systems, and infrastructure to enable faster turnaround in the times to come. So for this, the government of AP, as how Viksit Bharat, when India becomes 100 years, by the year 2047, government of Andhra Pradesh also has thought of Swarna Andhra 2047 with a motto to reduce the cost of production and improve speed of business for enterprises. And for this, they have a set of globally attractive manufacturing hub is the goal to create competitive ecosystem for sustainable manufacturing, and then product perfect value creation to build global Indian brands, and then green energy transition by integrating various verticals of renewable energy generation to increase green energy footprint in the state. And of course, interlinking of rivers is a part of where we can have waterways for transportation, which will be a much cheaper mode of transportation as believed. And then dovetailing the government of India schemes wherever possible, complementing the national initiatives, and attract foreign direct investment in emerging sectors with an aim to attract Fortune 500 companies to the state, and the creation of employment to capitalize on the demographic dividend, and artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and Industry 4.0, seamlessly integrating with all these three technologies in the years to come. And then port-based value addition. Government of AP, another advantage is we have a number of ports in the state, unlike any other state, so that we can establish clusters in proximity to ports for manufacturing products with export potential. For this TCT, software export, the special economic zone, SEZ, is very classic example in Chittoor district, currently in Tirupati district. And like this, they want to have special economic zones at different places, basically linking to the ports. And then end-to-end domestic value creation to strengthen current ecosystem and focusing on value addition. That's the guide. All these are the guiding principles for Swarna Andhra 2047. So the government of AP has set some policy targets for manufacturing sector, including food processing, electronics, IT, MSME, and other manufacturing sectors by 2029. Basically, to increase the gross value addition to 7.3 lakh crores of rupees from manufacturing. Currently, it is at 3.4 lakh crores in the financial year 2024, and that aiming to go for 7.3 lakh crore rupees. Foreign direct investment to 10 billion US dollars. Currently, it is just 8.8 billion in the last 5 years. And now we need to work a lot in order to increase it to 10 billion US dollars. Then employment, 5 lakhs. First time employment creation in manufacturing. And this is 5 lakh per year. This is the target. So the manufacturing sector is given 5 lakhs and all the other IT and are given 15 lakhs. The total by 2029, government of AP wants to create an employment of around 20 lakhs. Then export of 40 billion US dollars, which is basically will be double from the current year of 20 billion US dollars. Then investments of 30 lakh crores of Indian rupees in the form of investment attraction from all departments. And industrial parks in all 175 assembly constituencies. Parks targeted for development of people participation, people, public, private partnership models, P4 and P3. So far we had P3, public, private partnership. Now P4 is come people, public partnership models. So and for this, Amaravati is the kind of land pooling that has been demonstrated by the government of AP, and P4 is definitely the much better model. So overall, 5 lakh crore investment realization is the policy targets, and for that reason, for that aim and the targets, government of AP has brought these policies. Now, the focus sectors to bring the targeted growth is already we have sustenance sectors, where the sectors with existing ecosystem in the state in 10 sectors, namely automobile, engineering, pharma and life sciences, textile and apparels, footwears, metals and alloys, chemicals and petrochemicals, food processing, medical devices, blue economy. Blue economy is nothing but the sea-based industries, water-based, and then furniture. So these are all the 10 sectors which are already existing ecosystem in the state. Now the government of Andhra Pradesh wants to have 10 more propelling sectors for which ecosystem has to be developed or strengthened. Number one is in aerospace, defense and drones. In fact, last month we had a very interesting, last week, very interesting drone summit, Amaravati drone summit in Amaravati, where the government of AP has gone into the Guinness Book of World Records by demonstrating 5,500 drones aerial display, and that's the strength which government of AP wants to leverage. And they are also coming out with the drone policy in the state very soon. They'll be coming. In fact, they have rolled out the draft policy, drones policy, and this is also one very important area for startups to come. Then electric vehicles and battery, very promising sector. Biotechnology and toys, green and renewable energy. Already government of AP has proven in this, but still there is a long way to go. And ports and logistics, this is also another important propelling sector for the growth of economy. Semiconductors and electronics, shipbuilding, and specialty steel. We have a specialty steel in Tadipatri in terms of Arja steels, and similar specialty steel sectors will be the propelling sectors. Then we have MRO. This we normally call it as a maintenance, repair, and what do you call overhauling, right? We call MRO is basically for maintenance, repair, and overhauling. This is also another sector with the kind of industry that we are getting, where we will be having all these propelling sectors to reach that targeted growth what the government of Andhra Pradesh have envisaged. And we also have a cross-cutting sectors like do it. All these we want to do it with industrial parks by strengthening the logistics, strengthening the MSMEs, and IT-enabled services, hospitality and tourism, and energy. And all these are the cross-cutting sectors for all these things where it will be useful. For this, government of AP has adopted a four-pronged approach to encourage manufacturing. Number one is reducing the cost of production. Number two, enabling speed of doing business. Number three, strengthening MSME and entrepreneurs. Number four, financial incentives. So all these four are equally important. Number one, reducing the production cost, and basically for the speed of doing, how speedily the businesses are permitted. This is really a challenging sector. For this, government of AP has come out with a really innovative structure. For every 1,000 crores of investment, they will be putting one senior officer in charge of that, so that investors do not go through that hardship. Then strengthening the existing MSMEs and future entrepreneurs, and they also come out with very good financial incentives, which we will go through. And then interventions to reduce the, number one is on land consolidation for industrial use in industrial nodes. Minimize the time delays in acquisition of the land, and then visibility on sectoral clusters being developed. Now for this, the government of AP wants to add 29 new clusters to cover 1.32 lakh acres to the existing 20 clusters already. And number two is efficient and quality power, water and road infra parks. We'll see about this. Reduces the risk of project delays from delayed infra. And then efficient management of park facilities. Participation of private sector for infrastructure development, operational and maintenance is also planned. And number third intervention is on efficient industrial, social, and logistics infrastructure development. Thus, model share shift to minimize transportation costs, number one, and industrial housing in industrial parks. So for this, raw material hubs, dedicated freight corridors, interlinking rivers, supply chain, finance, all these things are considered. The fourth intervention is on rationalization of tariffs and duties to bring stability in the rates by way of minimizing uncertainty risks and reducing the cost of operation, ultimately optimization of tariff structures. All these also will be taken up. And the last one is to improve the labor productivity for increased availability and accessibility of skilled talent. This is where the government of AP is conducting the skill census to identify the skill potential, and then adopting the ITIs in providing different levels of skills. So they have they are going to have the skills at ITIs level, then at polytechnic level, then at university level, by providing center of excellence of training in domain-specific training in niche areas, in order to basically to reduce the cost of acquiring skilled talent and improving manufacturing productivity. So this particular intervention will be a great addition to its targeted 20 lakh jobs, because the industries, when the skilled labor is available at their own local area, so that they don't need to go for any other state skilled employees. This is one factor which the government of AP is proposing. So they want to create the skilled workforce to be ready for these regular investors who are coming. Then for interventions, again, 5 interventions for speed of doing business. They want to create a single window mechanism, basically to eliminate multiple single desks of multiple departments, more services and more departments on one portal. Then dedicated investment facilitation cell, because we are talking about speed of doing business. This will be ease of doing business 2.0 EDB. So that's the reason why they have coined the speed of doing business. This itself should propel the approval mechanisms in the state. For this, dedicated license officers, assistance in follow-up and tracking of approval status to bring down pendency delays. And then assistance to foreign investors, handholding services in the form of local information and expertise. Then the fourth one is integrating the data management system, streamlining and integrating tracking mechanism for quick decision making and resolution. Basically, the SLA-based enforcement, that's what they are planning. Re-engineering of regulatory processes and procedures. Age-old regulatory process, which they want to revamp and bring them by increasing the renewal frequency of licenses, and then self-certification without compromise on safety requirements. So for this, as I said, one senior officer to each project of more than 1,000 crore investment for handholding support is being planned by the government of Andhra Pradesh. Then when it comes to the incentives offering for large and mega manufacturers, industries can claim as high as 72% of fixed capital investment, depending on the value creation in the state. So this they are given for general, for early bird, and for value addition. So general normally 12 to 44% it categorized as FCI, and then 30 to 62% of FCI is category as for first 200 projects, they call it as early bird, and then component manufacturing, wherever, because that's also equally important for value addition of your manufacturing sector, and where 40 to 72% of FCI is there. Then investment subsidy will be 12%, for general, early bird 30%, for value addition 40%. Then decarb subsidy will be there up to 6%, and then up to 6% for early bird, and this is common for 6%. Then employment subsidy, again 8 to 10% in all the three. Standard incentives 5 to 6%, and then PLI is productivity linked incentives. Okay, productive linked approved institutions 10% fixed cost incentives. So this is the for large and mega manufacturers. This is the government of Andhra Pradesh offering for first 200 projects. Early bird, the maximum is coming up to 62%. A minimum will be at 30% and maximum will be at 62%. For value addition, minimum will be at 40% and maximum will be at 72%. And for general, minimum will be at 12% subsidy, maximum will be at 44% of FCA subsidy. So this is a very, very attractive incentive offerings from the government of Andhra Pradesh. Then when it comes to small scale industries, the government of AP has come up with a tagline of one family, one entrepreneur by 2030. So they are creating Ratan Tata Innovation Hub for MSME and entrepreneur product perfection. In fact, all the startups also will be coming under entrepreneur product perfection. Although they have not titled it at startups, and most of the startups are expected to figure in this. And this will be as a hub and spoke model to empower MSME champions integrating into global value chain. So basic hub will be at Amaravati, Ratan Tata Innovation Hub, and then you will have a zonal hub at Uttarandhra, somewhere in whether Visakhapatnam or Vizag, and then zonal hub at Godavari districts, zonal hub at Central Andhra, Krishna and Guntur, and then zonal hub at South Andhra near Tirupati, and zonal hub at Rayalaseema and Anantapur. So this is basically capability enhancement at innovation hubs will translate to real economic value. So all these things, we have a technology and skill upgradation in the emerging sectors. In all these hubs, government of AB will be leveraging different industries to provide technology and skill upgradation in the emerging sectors, mentorship and incubation by reputed business groups, and existing incubation centers in the state will be strengthened, will be mentored by different reputed business groups. That's the plan of the government. Then support on product market compliances, regulations and certifications, prototyping, research, translation, testing, MVP assistance, market viability product assistance for startups, contemporary design, attractive packaging, and marketing to create global brands. So all these 5 activities will be done at the Ratan Tata Innovation Hubs, both at zonal hubs and at the RTI, Ratan Tata Innovation Hub at Amaravati, which will be the hub to concentrate all these spokes of the zonal innovation hubs. So this is exactly because, and all these zonal hubs will be propelled by leading business groups in terms of mentorship, in terms of venture capital tie-up, in terms of knowledge transfer, in terms of financial support, in terms of legal assistance, in terms of integration with universities. In fact, this is exactly what Atal Incubation Center is also doing. So these kind of setups will be there at different places, basically to propel the all these policies to reach that targets. Then the strategy for MSME and entrepreneurial development, basically to have one family, one entrepreneur by 2030, having a comprehensive policy framework to provide dedicated support to MSMEs, focusing concerted efforts on stimulating sectoral growth and development. Number one is MSME facilitation is the first strategy. Then you have incubation centers where you will have mentoring in all different domains. Then unit level competitiveness will be taken care. Access to finance, sustainability and circularity. This is where the recycling of the come. And then import, export promotion. Then cluster infra development and social assistance for inclusion. This is also important because BC, SC, ST sectors wherever required, and the special assistance will be there for inclusion. And motto is to accelerate growth of MSMEs to transform Made in Andhra Pradesh into a competitive, inclusive, and preferred global brand. So idea is development on farmer-owned lands plus operational maintenance of park developments by public-private partnership models. So this is the strategy for MSME, and this public-private partnership models that we will see how the government of AP is coming out with these parks. Then before we go to that, we have incentive offerings for MSME manufacturers. Up to 75% of investment is being offered as incentive to make MSME products price competitive, right? So this is exactly, we have to understand this particular table. Maximum 75 lakh, maximum 7.5 crores, and maximum 37.5 crores. That's the percentage of investment subsidies we will be giving. So they will be in terms of standard incentives up to 50 lakhs, up to 5 crore, and up to 25 crore for this sector. Then export units up to 15 lakhs, up to 1.5 crore, and up to 7 crore. And for inclusiveness, women, BC, SC, ST, and specially abled led startups, led MSME companies, up to in addition, you will have 10 lakhs, 2 crores for this, and 10.5 crores for this particular category. And then investment subsidy itself will be up to 25 lakhs for this category, up to 1.4 for this category, and up to 7 crore for this category. So they have basically classified them as micro, small, and medium. And in all these things, the preference will always be given to first generation entrepreneur. And preference, but not that if at all there is an equal, all the other things remaining equal, preference will be given to the first generation entrepreneur. That's the another key point government of AP is popularizing. So overall, 500 crore of dedicated corpus will be there for this particular incentive offering to MSME manufacturers. Basically to capital gain fund of MSME, micro small enterprises, technology transfer, COIR programs, lean and clean production, revival of distressed MSMEs and products, because this is a very major challenge for the government of AP. I'm sure they will definitely come out for this, because there are so many MSMEs which have been distressed over the years, and there are so many issues to be addressed also. I'm sure this particular policy, this particular incentive offerings will be of great help to the distressed MSMEs which are already there in the state. Then for food processing sector, again, there is a separate policy, and I have asked our admin Jyoti to share all these 4 policies, one on MSME, and another food processing, another on industrial development sectors, and another is plug and play parks. And all these 4 policies will be shared to all the participants here, so that you can go through all these things. And for any queries, you can always come back to AIC SKU, be in touch with the AIC SKU team, and we should be able to help you and handhold you and help you in clarifying whatever the doubts you have in understanding all these policies. So the main strategy for the food processing sector is zero budget natural farming, ZBNF, and organic certification and traceability, commodity boards, food and exports, productive, specific cluster and VGF assistance, incentives for value addition and waste processing, incentives for cold chain, irradiation, abattoir and labs, and all these things are the strategies for this. And target is basically to have 30,000 crore investments, and the new entrepreneurs are expecting for 30,000 new entrepreneurs are expected for this, creating 3 lakh new employment, 3 lakh jobs for new employment. And commodity boards like cashew board and coconut board, mango board, coir board, some kind of things, and then export hubs and food and meat processing clusters. So all these 10 clusters, food and meat processing clusters are planned, 4 export hubs are planned, and these 3 commodity boards are planned, are the targets in the food processing sector. And basically, motto is to increase the value addition and encourage entrepreneurs to move up the value chain. And for this, government of AP will be having 250 crore of dedicated corpus, and this will be basically for millet promotion, technology transfer, R&D, and organic districts. So that's the strategy on food processing sector. Then the incentives for food processing sector, again, 75% of FCI for MSMEs and up to 35% for FCME for L&M, and labor and maintenance, labor and manual intensive investments. So beneficiaries will be FPOs, farmer producer organizations, self-help groups, federations, different cooperatives, societies, MSMEs, and L&M intensive industries, small-scale industries. So various incentive categories are investment subsidy, in terms of technology upgradation, power cost, net SGST cost, how the state government will be leveraging its GST, skill upgradation, energy and water audit cost, local procurement, quality certification, waste processing, common infra development. Basically, for all these things, secondary and tertiary processing units can claim 10% higher incentive over and above on capital subsidy over primary processing units, up to 8 crore for medium enterprises. Then inclusivity is given for women, BC, SC, ST, and specially abled can receive 35 to 40% FCI on capital investment. And investment greater than 100 crores will be given tailor-made incentives in food processing industry. So that's the policy, highlights of the policy on incentives for food processing sector. Then strategy for electronic sector. Again, it is divided into investments for 84,000 crore is targeted, and gross value addition for $50 billion US dollars, and basically to create 5 lakh employment in electronic sector. Focus subsectors are IoT, AC, laptop, TV, mobile, 5G communications, and components. Various incentives, again, these are all common. Investment subsidy, employment subsidy, value addition top-up, power subsidy, net state GST, recruitment assistance, sub-large 30 to 35% of FCI, large 35 to 40%, mega 40 to 45%. So speed of doing business, all these are the advantage. Leveraging the product-linked incentive schemes, investment hand-holding, 12 hours of working shifts, walk to work on other social infra, skilling ecosystem, attractive incentives framework. This is the strategy for electronic sector. Then finally, we have incentives to private park developers. This is a very, very innovative program that is launched by the government of AP. Government of AP wants to encourage private partnership in developing nano parks up to 10 acres. So all those private players who have 10 acres, less than 10 acres, they can develop nano parks with the plug and play facility. Then MSME parks with 10 to 100 acres, large parks 100 to 1000 acres, and mega parks above 1000 acres. So this is exactly what, I mean, the 100 to 1000 acres, we have 2 parks coming up with the government of India, one in Vorvakal and another in Kopparthi for mega parks. And already we have Sri City Park, and these kind of MSME parks, large parks and nano parks is also open to any entrepreneur who have around up to 10 acres of land. You can create a nano park with all these development models, and for which you will get a capital subsidy of 3 to 5 lakh per acre. That means if you are developing a 10-acre agricultural land, let us say 10 acre into a nano park, every acre you will get up to 5 lakh, 3 to 5 lakh per acre of capital subsidy for the development of the park. Then you will have exemption charges for NALA. NALA is basically non-agricultural land assessment purpose. If you want to convert non-agricultural to industrial thing. Then in terms of land use, in terms of layout approvals, in terms of stamp and registration, all these you will have the exemption. This is a very, very attractive policy of the government of AP. In the nano parks particularly, you can have number of nano parks developed by any farmer if you really have, and mostly we have the software engineers coming back to their villages, and it's a very good opportunity for all the software engineers who have up to 10 acres. Develop nano parks in your own area by utilizing this particular thing. So that's one way where we are, let 1,000 flowers blossom all around the state of Andhra Pradesh. And that's one very good option here. And then development models are model 1, 100% privately owned lands you can have, or partial government lands you can have, and 100% government lands. So this 100% privately owned lands is a major attractive with all these subsidies you will have. Then developer duties also will be development of trunk and common infrastructure, promotion of parks, and operation of maintenance of parks. And developer duties will be the government support will be there in external infra to parks in terms of road, power and water, and approval and creation of industrial area land allotment, IALAs, right? And this kind of all the help will be given by the government. Now the government of AP wants to develop these kind of private parks in each of the 175 assembly constituencies to have one developed park, at least one in each of the constituents. Nano parks with specific impetus to flatted factory complex. Nano parks, there is no limit for the nano parks, and this is developed park for MSME parks. And each constituency can have any number of nano parks, and particularly states adjoining major capital, like closer to Hyderabad, closer to Bangalore, closer to Chennai, closer to Vizag. And these particular areas, you can have nano parks for IT plug and play facility. Yeah, that will be a very good thing. And so all these are the sectors, basically aqua, agri and horticulture processing, biotechnology, defense and aerospace, drone manufacturing, electric vehicles, gems and jewelry, leather and footwear, pharmaceutical, semiconductor and electronics, textiles, toys, product-specific parks, and parks for downstream industries for evolving needs. And this is, and in fact, this is my last slide for presentation, where I'm focusing more on incentives to private park developers, which is a very good offer from the government of Andhra Pradesh for most of the IT engineers who really have some agricultural land in their areas and who want to develop this kind of plug and play facility. It will be a very good thing. Even if you have more agricultural land also, you can have one nano park, and which will be catering to your farm produce, your millets and food processing, how your nano park will be helpful in terms of manufacturing, in terms of processing of these agricultural products. Okay, so that's all about